Hey guys, next video in the lineup, taxonomies, archives, permalinks, and sitemap. I'm going to give you an overview and a guide for setting those up on a local site. Taxonomies. These are a way that a site can group together pages or posts, categories, tags. And WordPress has its own default grouping, so we're going to go in there. I'm going to show you what to update, and we're going to make it no index follow. What that means, no index means, is that search algorithm or search bots are not going to index the pages, but they're going to follow all the links that go to that page. Our goal is not to get them indexed from the start, so that way we don't have to worry about any type of canonicals or redirects. If you do have them in place, I usually just no index follow and let them drop off. And the reason we do this is that on our site, we're not trying to rank these pages. So if we were an e-commerce site, our category pages, we're going to try and rank. But in this case, we're trying to get those local services pages ranked. Now, the archives in WordPress, the defaults are author and date, and then they have special. And we're going to do the same thing with archives. We're going to make it no index follow. The author is essentially just duplicate content of whatever they post, whether on a blog. So we want to make sure that we have only the single unique post for them to go through. We're not worried about ranking our authors. We're also going to show you how to set up your permalinks, in which you want your chomporthodontics.com/post-name versus having something to where it would be like page 110, page 112, as we're trying to get our keywords within our URL. So we're going to set it up so that way it pulls from the post name that we set up ourselves. Then we're going to look at sitemaps. A sitemap is a list of pages with the idea for a website to be accessible to crawlers. So essentially it lays it out for search bots, how the site is structured and where pages can be found. It helps put some of those links together. So it puts point A, B, and C, so that way a bot can figure out how to kind of navigate the site, have a better understanding of the pages that are on the site, getting pages indexed. And what we're going to do is I'm going to show you how to create a sitemap with Yoast SEO plugin. And I'm going to show you how to submit those sitemaps. And we're going to be doing an XML sitemap from the Yoast plugin. Go ahead, log into your dashboard. And then what we're going to go look at taxonomies. So go ahead to your titles and metas of your Yoast SEO plugin. Remember to enable advanced if you haven't done so. And we're going to go to taxonomies. And see, we've already set up, so it's no index. No index. This to me, I'm not worried about. I'll no index the format. Project categories, I no index. Project tags, I no index. So you can assign tags within your post. So that way, if you wanted to look at an aggregate view with snippets of your posts, you're able to do that with WordPress. It's one of the default things that they allow for. But we're not worried about that, being that we're a local site. Then we're going to look at archives. So here's our author archives. So what that is the archives of every piece of content that a user makes. So you can assign users here which create the author. Let me show you real quick. So Chomp right now is our author. So if you go into the profile, we've got our username, got our nickname, and then displayed publicly as profile picture about ourselves, and you can fill out all this information for your site. But I always try and, unless it's a guest post, I try and make this as relative to the business as possible. So for this, I'd make it orthodontist. So let me update real quick just to give you guys a basic idea about the author. So instead of it being Chomp, which is our username, I'd give it a nickname, orthodontist DDS. All right, so now I'm also going to select that, update the profile. Now when we go to posts, we're going to see by. This is our author. So if you click on that, what happens is right now it's just redirecting to the home page because we've got it turned off. Same thing for date. Even though this isn't clickable, Here's our archives. We can go to August, see what's been posted in August 2017. And because we've got it set up and disabled here, we're not going to be able to see it. We're not allowing it to archive because we've got it turned off. See, it's disabled. But I'll show you what it looks like enabled. So I've got the author. Go to blog. And then now when we click it, see, it's going to give us everything by that author. In which, if you like, which I don't need to, because if you've got a larger local site in which you do have guest posts going on and people want to see, maybe you have someone who comes and posts once a month out of 10 different posters, you can enable the author archives, but just make sure that it's no index. We want people on our local sites to go to our service pages or to that blog post specifically around how to solve the solution so then they can convert. But same thing with date, you could do the exact same thing. Now let's look at permalinks, but we're going to go to settings and then click permalinks. Okay, so what we're going to choose, we're going to choose post name. And what that means is that for the pages we have or the post, so if we were to go to our blog post, notice it's the post name, which we had defined from our URL. Okay. We don't want it to be this. This isn't helpful to users. It's not helpful to search. We're not a blog site. We don't want the date with sample post. We want just the post name for local. It's a pretty easy setup. Make sure to check that, then save changes. Now let's take a look at the sitemaps. So we've got the SEO sitemap. Functionality is enabled. Let's take a look at the sitemap. And first, let's go through post types that we can put in sitemaps. Media is not in sitemap. Projects are in the sitemap. And we can remove these. Like in this case, since we have no projects, it doesn't have an impact, but I'll turn them off. So now all we have for this local site are posts and pages in the sitemap. Then we have our taxonomies, right? So we can take out these are the sitemap because we're not indexing them anyway. And they're not going to be in there. So now here's our posts and page. And then what we're going to do, so this is our sitemap URL. What we're going to do now is we're going to submit that. And I suggest you doing this once you get your content updated and ready for search. A lot of times it'll already be picked up if it's a current client. But if you're working on the site, I'd say within that first month, before you submit it, I would, unless it hasn't been submitted before, then I would do it because you want to get some data on the radar. But before I would update it and resubmit it, I would get as much of the on page done as possible. Let's go over to Webmaster Tools and I'll show you how to submit your sitemap. All right, so log in to Search Console. Go to Sitemaps down under Crawl. And then first thing you do, you want to test it. Make sure there's no issues or error. Test results come back complete. Let's view the test results. So number of children in sitemap 2, no errors found. So let's go ahead. In this case, you would just submit. I'm going to go ahead and resubmit if it's already there. It says we got 2 warnings. So it looks like one of the posts was getting blocked, categories getting blocked, which is fine. So we look at our warnings, and these are just warnings, they're not errors. So we purposely had done that, which is all right. Now, If you see errors in there, it'll give you an idea of what you need to potentially fix. Like if you migrate a site, you're going to find that you may have a lot of errors, and it'll give you information as what you will need to 301 redirect if you've permanently moved the page. Let me go into Bing. All right, so log in your Bing dashboard, go to your site, configure my site, Sitemaps. All right, so we've got one. Let's go ahead, resubmit. Now our status is pending. So we've submitted our new site maps, and we're good to go for it to be crawled. Usually it happens pretty quick, but I want to show you another trick around getting pages indexed. So for Bing, you're going to go to Submit URLs, and then let's say, for example, that we've got the Welcome Chomp Orthodontics blog posts. We would just drop it in, submit, and then that's going to potentially force index this. So if we were to go to Bing, say we do, and this is a way to check if something is indexed. So it's showing that that's not indexed yet. Let's give it a minute. Let's go work on Webmaster Tools. So we're going to fetch as Google, and then we want to drop that in. Fetch. Pending request indexing. Crawl only this URL in this case. Then we got to go through this guitars. Looks like a guitar. That's a guitar. That's a guitar. Hopefully I didn't get anything wrong. Good to go. Gonna index it. Now let's take a look to see if it's indexed. Google can be faster. I don't see it yet. Not coming up yet. Let's go back to Bing, see if that's working. Nothing yet. It could take some time. That's okay. I'm going to pause the video and then we'll come back. Let's try again. It's been a couple minutes more. And there we go. This says that it was indexed 2 days ago, so Google beat us to it. And then on Bing, still waiting on Bing. Bing can take a little while longer, but you see, you get the idea. That's how you would want to go ahead. If you create a new page, get a new post up, update a page, add new information, going and using these tools to submit URLs is the fastest way to get things up and indexed. Looking forward to our next video. Hope you enjoyed this. See you in the next training.